We're good to go.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First, I'll take roll call. Kreger.
Here.
Johnson. Here. Mavis. Moline.
Here.
Odeyemi.
Here.
Sowards.
Here.
Witten. Wright. Here. Public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a public comment at this time?
Do I have to comment now, or can I wait and see what?
If it's pertaining to a specific item, you can wait and you can speak for this specific item if you'd
I
like.
don't mean to create a problem, I just like to hear what's
Yeah.
going on, maybe I won't have anything to say.
Sounds good. All right, the minutes, approval of the January 5th, 2026 meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Sowards, second by Moline. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There being no old business, we'll turn to the public hearings for tonight. The first is 2026-03, public hearing request from Tim Finella of Modern Woodman to consider a variance from the Rock Island zoning ordinance for property at 1701 First Avenue in a B2 downtown business district. Eunice.
The applicant informed staff about wanting to install an 8-foot tall fence along the trail. Staff informed the applicant a variance will be needed to install the fence at the height. The variance request is to install an 8-foot tall metal fence at the property. The affected zoning ordinance, fences shall be no more than 6 feet in height in any side or rear yard. The variance shall only be authorized if 2 of the 3 conditions as provided in Article 8, Section 6A of the zoning ordinance are found. The Commission will make a recommendation to the City Council for this request since the property is on business and is over 20,000 square feet. The staff analysis is as follows. Condition 1, staff conclude that the property can yield a reasonable return without a variance, as a 6-foot tall fence would still provide the security needed. So this condition is not met. Condition 2, the property has an existing 8-foot tall fence along parts of the property. Staff reason that allowing the 8-foot tall fence, particularly along the trail, will provide some buffer against activities of the railroad and the trail. So this condition is met. Condition 3, staff reason the fence height will not alter the character of the neighborhood. The property already utilizes 8-foot fencing in other areas. Allowing the same height for the new section ensures a cohesive appearance across the property. So this condition is met. The Community Development Department recommends that the Planning and Zoning Commission pass a recommendation to the City Council that the variance for the fence height be approved, as there is a unique circumstance and the fence height will not alter the character of the neighborhood.
Thank you. Are there any questions of staff regarding this item?
Yes, I have a question. The fence that's there, the metal fence is good, and that's what you note, that's what they wish to do. But when it comes time for the recommendation, it simply says the variance for the fence height. And my question would be, if when this comes up for discussion and vote, would that prevent, by not having the word metal also in the recommendation, would that allow Modern Woodman to decide, well, we used to have that, but now we'd like to put up an 8-foot solid wood fence? Would they be able to do that, or would this recommendation be specific only to the kind of metal chain kind of fence that they currently have?
Based off of the requested action, under the requested action and affected requirements, we would believe that they should install a metal fence throughout the property. And in the analysis, we also indicate they already have similar fencing on the property. So the similar fencing being the metal fence would what staff would require them to have now and in the future.
So it would only be a height variance for the kind of fence they currently have, not for, so if they would once get this variance, if somehow corporate would decide in 3 years, you know, we've got a really nice design for a wood fence there instead, they would not be able to do that?
The request is, they're requesting the 8-foot metal fence, so that's our intention to, that's what we're approving. The commission can always be more specific and add a stipulation that that's, you know, the fence should be. But the intention is that's what it's allowing. It's not allowing like a solid vinyl fence or solid wood fence or something like that.
So that, again, that, I know that's the assumption, but sometimes once something like this is passed, then it becomes the legality. People would pick out what does it actually say. And so that's the thing I worried about, that, yeah, this is the intention now, but if Modern Woodmen executives would decide in a few years, would there be any way to stop there? They would say, no, you gave us the variance.
Understood. So if that's a concern, the commission can add a stipulation in there to be specific about that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Eunice. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this item?
Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Tim Finella. I'm the facility manager over at Modern Woodmen. And I just want to take a minute, thank Eunice for her help in presenting this to the commission. And you guys have all of the material in front of you, so I won't take up too much of your time. I just want to thank the commission too for considering this today.
I guess as a follow-up to kind of the discussion we had, so the intent is to put up the same fence that you have now there?
That is correct. There is a 4-foot black chain link fence that runs along the railroad bike path. And so we're just replacing that with an 8-foot chain link fence.
Okay. Is it for reasons of security?
Yeah, it's addressing some security concerns, employee concerns, yes.
And you said it was also for protection of activities of the railroad? Can you be more specific?
Well, I was using the railroad as an example, just that's where it's by. It's right on the property line of the bike path and our property, and then you'd have to jump over the bike path to get to the railroad.
Any other questions for this applicant?
Yeah, my wife and I walk that path a lot, and we love your building and the fences as they are, that black, it fits in, you can see through, the public can gain an appreciation of your landscaping. So when I raise the questions, it's not like I was speaking against it, but if suddenly we were to hike the trail and suddenly somebody had decided, no, we're going to go with a solid one, then that would change the whole character of that trail. And so I guess that's a way of asking you if I would move later to add the word that the variance for the metal fence height be approved. Would that be okay with you?
Absolutely. We're just looking to do a metal chain link fence. Yep.
It's a great spot you have, so thank you.
Anybody else? Anyone else in the audience wish to speak in favor of this item?
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak against this item? Hearing none, is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the recommendation with the addition of the word metal before in line 2. So it would read that the commission pass a recommendation to the city council that the variance for the metal fence height be approved and everything else as worded.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Moline, second by Kreger. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Johnson? Aye. Moline?
Aye.
Odiyemi?
Aye.
Sowards?
Yes.
Wright? Aye. Kreger?
Aye.
Riggs votes aye. Motion carries. Thank you. You don't have to stay if you don't want.
Yeah. This will go on to city council on the 23rd for approval. So, thank you.
Okay, so that vote was 7 ayes, 0 nays, motion carries. Next item, 2026-05, public hearing request from the City of Rock Island's Community Development Department to consider a rezoning from C2 district to I1 district for properties with the following pins listed on the agenda. Eunice?
The city is interested in seeing industrial development on the subject properties that take advantage of the city's recent designation as a regional port district. This area has been called out in the ongoing Port District Master Plan, noting its potential for distribution, logistics, and warehousing uses. The site also has the potential for rail service. City staff have spoken with the various property owners, and they are generally interested in supporting that type of development. Since the properties are Zone C2 district, A rezone is needed to help facilitate future development. Access to the sites could be made available on 31st Avenue and 24th Avenue. No signs have been proposed at this time. No landscaping or lighting have been proposed at this time either. The comprehensive plan identifies employment land use for the properties. The employment land use category is intended for high-quality office, service, retail, institutional, research, light manufacturing, and distribution land uses with generous landscaping and limited signage. The city's O1, O2, and I1 zoning districts are among the zoning districts appropriate for areas mapped under this future land use category. Staff reasoned that the proposed rezoning fits this description and is generally consistent with the intent of the category. The light industrial zoning district is intended to provide for the development of most types of industry with regulations designed to protect adjacent properties. Uses may generally include the processing or manufacturing of products or parts, including fabrication, assembly, treatment, and packaging of such products, and the incidental storage, sales, and distribution of such products, provided that all activity besides loading and unloading is contained entirely within a fully enclosed building. Any heat, glare, dust, smoke, fumes, odors, or vibration are confined to the building with no external impacts detectable beyond the property line. Staff reasoned that the rezoning of the subject properties to light industrial is compatible with adjacent properties. Properties to the south and west are already zoned light industrial. Additionally, the subject properties have historically had industrial uses on them. Lastly, the subject properties are capable of handling a variety of uses allowed by the light industrial district. The properties have the potential, again, for real service, and some are currently used for industrial purposes. The I1 light industrial district allows for a broad range of industrial uses while setting standards to minimize impact on neighboring properties. Overall, the proposed rezoning from C2 to I1 represents an appropriate land use transition that is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood context and supports the city's long-term goals. Based on the analysis, the Community Development Department recommends that the Commission pass a recommendation to the City Council that the rezoning request be approved.
Thank you, Eunice. Are there any questions of the board to Eunice?
Yes. On that property, again, I've been, like many here, I've been around long enough to remember that that was an industrial site, and some of the pollutants that caused some problem in that wetland to the west were coming from that property. Well, that's been cleaned up and phased out, but for these many years now, much of that has been just dirt, and some vegetation has come up on top of that, so it's almost like an undisturbed area. And my question is, if there's development on this, and if it would require increased pavement or impermeable surfaces, would that property be subject to the stormwater detention pond requirements that are in other so-called undeveloped areas? Would they have to put in detention ponds on that surface if they put in any parking lots or flat rooftop things?
I believe that would be the case. As we said, there's no landscaping requirements at this time, but most landscaping requirements would also include showing certain portions or certain areas of the property that might require that. So those will be part of, if there's any development as the site plan reviews happens, staff would recommend that they provide documentation on that.
So they would need, then, just to make sure, they would need to put in, if there are impermeable surfaces there, they would have to put in the detention so that you're not getting pavement runoff going right into the river to the west.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they would be required to do. It's, of course, based on the development, but if they're adding impermeable surface, that would be subject to the stormwater ordinance, and things there would kick in. I don't know exactly what that would be. It's, of course, based on the development, but it would apply.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question. Is this the same company that has the location where the Rock Island dump used to be, that has the 100-foot tall mountain of concrete? Are they going to remove part of that concrete that's been piled up there for years, and doesn't seem like they've ever done anything except pile more onto it. And I thought there was gonna be a limit on that a long time ago.
So this is the,
I know it's not
on the-
associated with the same parcel of land, but it's the same company that has the concrete mountain
I'm
that
not for
everybody
sure if I
sees
know.
when they drive down the
Where is
parkway.
that? Yeah, where are you talking about?
Pardon me?
I think that's this property.
Between 31st Avenue and 18th Avenue.
Yeah, that's this property.
That's not this property. This is too far to the south.
We're on the rezoning, request. The special use permit was withdrawn.
Excuse me, you talking about the old dump property?
We're not sure.
So the special use,
I understand about one out of 20 words, I apologize. Is the property that you're talking about?
I think they're on the other,
This one, you think they're on the wrong?
yeah. Yeah.
The next one you're gonna talk about?
Are you discussing the rezoning of it right now? What is it?
So Commissioner Krager, we skipped over the special use permit because they withdrew that request. So we're on the rezoning now. So that is that property with the concrete pile. I believe that's what you're talking about.
Okay.
Any other questions for staff? Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak against this item? And if you do, please come up to the podium and state your name, please.
I apologize, my hearing stinks.
It's the acoustics in here are very poor. It's hard to it's hard to hear in here, so don't feel
Now,
too
my
bad.
wife will tell you I don't listen to. So we're talking about the old dump property where the concrete grinding plant is today.
I believe that's true.
Yeah, so what's on the map highlighted in blue there, that's
Okay.
the property we're talking about.
So it's on the other side of 92, but adjacent to Lake
On
Potter?
the east side of 92.
Correct.
Okay. Am I restricted to what I can say, or can I ramble for a short?
You got, yeah.
Sure, go
Okay.
ahead.
There's no restrictions. You got 5 minutes.
Okay, you can shut me off whenever you want. That was guaranteed by the city council many years ago to be a park, when it was done being a
That's what happens when we get old, Jim.
yeah. They used that to dig out sand and everything else to make 92. I came down here myself to a meeting. The alderman said that when that was done and dug out, it would be used as a dump, then it would be covered over, and it would be a park for the citizens of Rock Island. A borrow pit is what they called it. So that's a great idea. They got people behind them because it was going to be a big park. I mean, it was 75, 85 acres. So when it got done being a dump, many, many years later, they put it up for sale. Charlie Arnold bought it. I was going to come down the meeting. I got called out of town, couldn't make it. But Charlie Arnold bought the property, $28,000 for that approximately 80 acres. It was guaranteed by the alderman to make a park for the citizens. Didn't get done. Charlie was a pretty good steward of it. He had the EPA on his butt all the time. You got to have more dirt here. You got to do this. You got to fix that. But he was good for it. He ended up selling it when he got sold that he couldn't take care of it, right? He sold it to Rick from Tri-City Blacktop. Rick from Tri-City Blacktop sold it to consumers. Consumers ended up selling it to Chuck Langman. That was supposed to be a park. I believe it's a park now. Earlier, what were the words you used that it is today?
The property is zoned C2 nature conservation.
Nature conservation. Okay. To my mind, that pretty much says what it is. Excuse me. Excuse me. How did we get a concrete cement plant on it? Was that given a pass on a, what do you call that, a
Like a special use or something?
special use? Has that plant got a special use, or did it just get on there and nobody said anything? That's a question I have.
I'm not aware of any zoning history for the property besides the use being,
I'm sorry?
I'm not aware of any zoning history on the property as far as that, besides the use being grandfathered in.
So today, we don't even know if that's a legal plant on that property?
To my knowledge, it is, yes.
Okay. It is?
To my knowledge, yes.
Well, then it would have had to had a special use voted
Not
on it,
necessarily.
correct?
It could have been a legal non-conforming use prior, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, now we're about to turn it into a complete industrial property, right? Just so that somebody can sell it and hopefully get some value from this new, boy, I'm getting old. Get some value from this new designation. And I'm against that. The city of Rock Island deserves to have something out of that. I would ask that you would go back and find out if it's even a legal concrete plant. I'm okay with concrete plant being there, but I am curious if it's legal or not. I don't have anything against Langman, but to turn it into a light industrial for the entire thing, he tried, there was on the docket tonight to put one in my backyard, and I'm completely against that. But if there's one down there and it's a half a mile from my store, I guess that I'll go along with that to try to keep the peace. But it would sure be nice if the city stood up for what they told the people it was going to be, which was a park. I don't know how you get it back from Langman or Rick from Tri-City or Consumers or Charlie Arnold, but that's what they stood there and they said in that.
Do you know when that would have been? Like
When?
What year?
30 years ago.
30 years ago?
Oh, yeah. When 92 was being built, they needed that for the borrow pit for 92.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody's just ignored it. I'm okay with ignoring it some, but I sure don't want it turned into an industrial plant just to line somebody's pocket.
Thank you. I'm sorry, sir, I didn't catch your name at the beginning.
Jim Davies,
Oh, okay, thank you.
been in Rock Island for almost 74 years.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Any questions?
I'd like to respond. I've been on the commission a long time, and I don't recall the details of about the special use permit, but I'm confident that when the decision was made, there would not have been approval for them to create the concrete pile that's near I-92 that we now see. That would not have been under any planning commission that they would have authorized a special use, and it's okay to leave the debris there. So I think, going back to your question, it might be that it simply happened and nobody enforced that you can't do that on that kind of property.
I would agree with that. Just like the pile of steel at 18th Avenue in 92. That's grown out halfway to the 92, way past the fence line. I'm for businesses having it easy and as easy as they can, but I think that politicians need to stand up for what they told people to. Don't mean to be a instigator or piss Chuck off or anything else, but
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Anyone else wish to speak against this matter? Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Excuse me, can I
Yeah.
summarize?
Yeah,
Would somebody tell me if there was a special use permit for the cement pile? Would someone look that up? Would someone,
Sir, I already have, and there's not one on record. That's what I'm saying.
oh, there's not one?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
My question is, like, if you put an asphalt plant there, this is really close to residential areas. I mean, it's anywhere from 18th Avenue to 31st Avenue. Is this going to pour out noxious odors? I don't know.
So the uses that are already there are grandfathered in staff's opinion. The light industrial zoning district wouldn't allow for things like an additional asphalt plant or those types of heavy industrial uses. This staff is hoping to rezone the properties to light industrial to help facilitate some warehouse distribution logistics development that the city is hoping to see on that property.
And Tanner, was there something about like a port designation? Is
So
can you
that's
explain
just
that?
some background on kind of how this came to be. The city became a regional port district in 2024. Basically, you know, that looks at how goods are moved throughout the city, kind of a vehicle for industrial development. We started a port district master planning process through a grant we received from the state earlier last year. We're wrapping that project up. They had identified this site as one site that had potential, you know, for uses that would use rail service to a greater extent. So that, you know, typical distribution warehouse type uses, it was identified in that plan that's ongoing as having potential for that. So the city is interested, you know, of course, in seeing that type of development take place, and the zoning, you know, needs to align with that for that to happen.
Okay, thank you.
My concern of this is that parcel floods. It gets flooded, especially where the trees are there. We've had more and more flood events. So like if we did switch to like industrial, there's not gonna be anything there to absorb that water.
Yeah, Bill?
I do have some concerns as well. A number of months ago, I can't tell you the owner's name, right there at Mill Street, 18th Avenue, they came in, they wanted to rezone, and they were doing some cutting, welding,
Slifkins.
is it Bill
What's the
Slifkins?
business name?
And they were putting.
You're talking about Dell's Metal?
Dells, right?
Yeah,
Dells.
right there. And I think that was a valid concern of mine, what are they gonna be doing with this? Another one is, I don't think there's a time that my wife and I drive by, I don't say hardly anything, but she'll comment, when people come into Rock Island, that's the first thing they see. Probably 100-foot high,
It's tall.
very high, just a mass of nothing. What additionally is gonna go onto this property? And then the runoff would be another consideration. That would be my things.
So just to be clear, the rezoning isn't going to impact any uses that are already there. The concrete processing isn't even conforming to the light industrial zoning district. So that doesn't change that or give them any additional permissions to do, you know, anything else that they would want to do. The light industrial district is fairly, you know, restrictive. It focuses more on industrial uses that, you know, have impacts that are contained to the site. So any new uses that would go there would have to abide by that. Typically, you know, that's distribution, that's transload facilities, warehouses. The special use permit that Dell's Metal submitted, that was, you know, a heavy industrial use in a light industrial zoning district. And staff, you know, and the commission recommended denial of that. So that's kind of a different case where they were doing the activity and they needed approval for that activity. This, you know, is just rezoning land. The activity that's already there is grandfathered in. It's a legal nonconformity.
Tanner, I see nobody's from Langman's is here. Did they give or a reason why they wouldn't?
Yeah,
Okay.
she is here, but just to be clear, this is a city-initiated request, so they're not necessarily required to
Okay.
be here. Yeah.
The fact that this has come up even more with like, if the city is making this request, if they have ideas for potential use of that, could the desire to have it be used be an incentive for the city that, approval for the new uses would be approved if the city cleans up the concrete that's visible from 92 in the north part of that, use that as the incentive. In other words, to tell the city council, we know if that, this is what crossed my mind here, if the city really wants to see this as new development, we want it to look nice, at least get rid of the eyesore from 92 of the piles of concrete. Otherwise, if now that goes bad, we don't use this occasion to make correction, then okay, it gets rezoned and well, those piles are going to remain there for decades. Would this be an incentive to get it done now? That's not our job, it's the council's, but with that, how do you think the economic development people or the council would react to that as a suggestion?
I think they think that's a barrier to, development probably won't happen if we put a ton of restrictions like that into
Yeah,
any approval.
that's kind of my question, because if it's a legal non-conforming use now, and the rezoning makes it more marketable for transit uses or the like, which
Yeah.
is kind of what you're talking about, right? Isn't that give us a greater chance of that eyesore going away and allowing a different use?
Only if they would choose to move the concrete. There's a lot of, that's a big pile, and if you look at it carefully, if you haven't looked at it before, you look, it's tucked behind the vegetation for part of the year, but even then, you can see through it, and it is, as you mentioned, you would hope that when people are coming to Rock Island, and once you pass 31st Avenue, just don't look out the right window of your car.
Or the left.
But at that point, you're looking out on the wetland, so it's actually not bad. The other problem gets to be on the next avenue.
Are there proposed plans for development right now?
There's conceptual things, but nothing, nothing solidified at all. But it's just kind of more planning related as far as, it's recognized in the port plan as a site with strong potential for that type of development.
Any other discussion? Is there a motion?
I can see, having partial of this property for light industrial, and the rest towards conservation, just because I know that it's heavily wooded there, and because of the flooding issue, water has to have a place to go. I don't know if that could be a part of the motion.
You can make one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So are you suggesting rather than the whole parcel divided in some way, approved for some parts, but not the other part? That's what you're thinking?
Right.
So like subdividing I'm not sure if we could really
Yeah,
make
the
that.
problem is the one parcel is very large, isn't it like 80 acres or
Yes,
something?
yeah.
The main parcel, and then there's just a few other small ones on the east side. So I don't know if that would really accomplish what you're looking for, Sarah.
Is this the only road access on 30th?
31st Avenue is the main road access. There is some access into the site. When I say the site, I'm talking the multiple parcels here, but off of 24th Avenue.
Okay.
Have you got
I'm not gonna
any-
make a motion quite yet, but I would propose for everything from the access road towards Lake Potter be sectioned off for C2. And the rest of the property for light industrial.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear all of
I would suggest sectioning off everything from the access road towards Lake Potter as C2. And the rest of the property to the right of the access road as light industrial.
I mean, I think the issue with that though is if you look at the parcel lines, I mean, it would require half the parcel to be zoned one thing and half the other, and I don't know that you can really do that.
We don't have the ability to really do that, because in a sense, we're subdividing somebody's property in a way or split zoning it. So
I mean-
it's a little hairy.
Yeah.
It's either or, you're saying.
Kinda, I mean,
Yeah.
unless you go by parcel. If you look, there's kind of like a triangular parcel on the southeast side and another sort of trapezoidal parcel a little bit further north, and then those smaller ones. I mean, you could do something different with those than the main one, but I don't know if that really accomplishes what planning and zoning is looking to do.
I'm not sure, Sarah, how much of that C2, I like your idea of one, but I don't think that portion of C2 actually does flood that much. The much more flooding occurs south of 31st Avenue, as you know, rather than north. So, but if that is subject to flooding, the 200-year flood limit rule should be in place, that there should be no new development in the city within the 200-year flood line, or maybe officially it's still only 100.
So you think it would
But
be
therefore,
protected?
that rule would be in place, so what you maybe are hoping, that you don't have encroachment onto an environmentally sensitive area. The city already has an ordinance where there should be no new, I think, I thought they had this, that there should be no new development within the 100-year flood line. And so if part of that property, if you are correct, that some of that southwest portion of C2 actually is subject to flooding, then they wouldn't be able to develop it anyway if the city enforces what is the expected interpretation of that flood rule.
I think the bank would pay attention if it's in the floodplain.
Yeah, you might not get financing. Well, and also wouldn't the stormwater ordinance come into play then too, if you're looking to develop and you're going to some impermeable surfaces? So there might be protections in already that would maybe address your concerns. It's hard to say.
Folks, bear with me, I can pull up a
Floodplain map?
flood hazard map here.
I guess I understand everyone's concern, but it seems to me like the rezoning is not going to make that area any more industrial than it already is with the non-conforming use. And so I guess my thought is that if we think that rezoning is going to help business development in town, then we should approve it.
So I pulled up a map here. The site's protected by the levee. The yellow and pink, I guess if you look on the big screen, that's the area protected by the levee. The blue area is the flood area. That doesn't line up with the parcel boundaries exactly, but it goes along 92 there.
Yeah, I can see the access road from there, actually. It's kind of what I thought, so yeah, that would be protected anyway. Yeah, you can see the access road on there.
Yeah. Well, it looks like the, what does the pink denote, Tanner?
Pink is just another protected by the levy category. I'm not exactly sure why one is one color, one's the other color.
The green is actually in the floodplain there.
Like, this is?
No,
Yeah.
no,
This is.
that's not. The green is this color if you look on
It's the blue?
that's, yeah, it's that lighter, that's the ponding area. Yeah, the colors don't line up perfectly, or
Any other discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion? Just to get it out there, I will make a motion to approve this request. Is there a second? Hearing none, I would say my motion dies for lack of a second. Is there any direction that the commission would like to give to staff?
I guess you've heard some of the concerns expressed, and I don't know that this is an absolute end forever, but there seem to be some other issues that might be talked over with the developer, with your colleagues on council or development office. You've heard them. Okay.
Yeah, you've heard some of the things brought up, and I don't have specific check on this, but you've heard the things that different people have brought up, and see what, maybe it might come back with a little bit more clarification. I don't know, just thinking out loud.
yeah, so staff's, or my opinion on this is that the rezoning itself isn't gonna give, the uses there that the commission, I don't, thinks, should be there, any additional permission or any ability to do anything else. It's just a legal non-conforming use, basically, they maintain it the same as is, that's fine. But the light industrial, zoning district, those are, the uses allowed in that zoning district are the uses we would, like to see there in the future on parts of that land that is not developed.
Can you restrict the rezoning to the parcels that do not contain the current operations?
The commission could make that recommendation, certainly.
I don't know what that gets you though, Sarah, because whether it's under the C2 or the I1, that current operation can continue to exist as a legal non-conforming use. And they couldn't create a new.
Can they expand though?
No. They can't, right, Tanner? Or
Correct,
like,
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
like slightly to
Yeah,
repair. but
it would
not
need
expand.
some sort of special use permit at that time if there was gonna be a substantial expansion.
I guess that was kind of my point. Is it be a lot probably I guess everybody agree.
Yeah.
Where
Special use. Like that. See. Change.
Change to improve concept. The zoning permit to do that. They require a special use permit, typically for a specific use that's being proposed, specific proposed. Staff just
it still is a case, though, that if that's zoned I-1, then if the current occupant even leaves, and who knows what else would come in, but it means that whole parcel somehow is going to be available for light industrial, as opposed to currently where it's only that operator and that special use that we know be there. And if we change it to I-1, then C2 is gone forever.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, maybe there's concern about that.
Okay, is there any other business or new business this evening? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Sorry.
Isn't that right? That's why people were hesitant about it.